My name's Matt Slater and I work as the Marine Awareness Officer at Cornwall Wildlife Trust. Seasearch is a really great project. We train recreational divers to record the wildlife they encounter on their dives. It's carried out all around the UK. It was set up originally by the Marine Conservation Society, but here in Cornwall it's delivered by Cornwall Wildlife Trust. We've got all sorts of fascinating marine life in Cornish waters, from tiny sea slugs, sponges, corals, anemones, right up to fish, even sharks. We see regularly dogfish, crustaceans, crabs, lobsters, all sorts of great things. It's so important to study our marine environment. As the Seasearch project has been expanding over the years, we're now the most important contributor of scientific data to all sorts of conservation decisions. A good example is the establishment of the network of marine conservation zones all around the UK. Arguably, we wouldn't have got the marine conservation zones without all of the information provided by our divers. Recently we took a team of Seasearch divers for a survey out of St Austell Bay. So we launched at Foy aboard the Gribbon, the pressure seeker, and we surveyed two sites. The first one was Udder Rock, which is a reef half a mile offshore, home to a whole variety of fascinating marine life. UK diving, it can be challenging, and what you find in springtime, you often get a plankton bloom. It doesn't really detract from the things, because once you're down near the seabed and you've got some nice lights on your camera, you can still really enjoy some great wildlife. As long as you're wrapped up warm, you're going to have a great time and you'll be amazed at what's down there. In the afternoon we then dived off Little Gribbon Head, which is an area where we've had reports of merle living. It was nice to revisit that site, and we're really pleased that the divers discovered some nice healthy patches of merle down there on the seabed, along with all sorts of other interesting creatures. It's important that the divers look around themselves and record what the seabed's like, as well as focusing on the fascinating little creatures like the sea slugs and stuff like that. We also ask people to really take note of all the different types of seaweed that make up the habitat, because that is really useful information as well as the cool stuff. All of the divers are asked to complete a Seasearch form after the dive, where they write down the features of the dive. So they get asked to draw a little diagram that sort of shows the depths that they dived at, and then they're asked to identify the main habitat types, the main sort of dominant cover of animal or plant on the seabed. Often divers are using cameras these days, so when you go through the photos, it gives you a little challenge to identify some of the species you saw. It's quite sociable after a diving day to get together in a cafe or a pub, have a look in books, identify some of the species, and then if you write them down on the form, that's really great information to help us with all our conservation work. In 2018, Seasearch celebrated its 30th anniversary. All of the information that's been collected by divers is publicly available on the Biodiversity Network website, and we now have over 500,000 records of species and habitats, which is an amazing data set.